what's the mindset when you feel you have a coach that you know damn well you ain't going to respect? Does that really happen?
Well, I think that all depends on the player. First, I think that all depends on the player. If you're a role player, if you're a guy that is a specialist, right, is a shooter, right, if you're a guy that's a hustle guy, like if you're one of those guys, then it really is not going to matter the credentials and what the coach did and shit like that, because you just, you love the game and you getting on the basketball court because you do one, maybe two really good things. But the guys that are the guys, right? The guys that the nigga you looking to put the ball in the basket, you looking to take you home, you looking to change whether you win or lose games. Those guys, be honest, tend to want to have to respect the guy that is calling the shots from the sidelines, right? Now, you want your players to just respect the coach regardless of what he is, because he's been designated the coach.
Right.
But a lot of times in these positions, NBA level, guys you've been watching your whole career, you knew Darvin Ham was an NBA level player, but amongst his peers, amongst that 450, he was
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get it. I don't think it's a disrespect to the game when players do it, but I don't think LeBron James and Anthony Davis disrespect the game to the point where they don't respect him just being the coach.
Right.
Now, some other guys on that team, maybe, I don't know, but you need a bigger voice for what they have over there. The two guys that they have in place and the roster that they have, if you're not going to change it, there needs to be a bigger voice. Like Lou would be a bigger voice in that locker room.
Right.
There's a few coaches around the league right now that have bigger voices. Carlisle's voice is big. Nick Nurse's voice is big.
Guys like Udoka and all that type.
Udoka's voice is big, right? Like there's coaches around the league that when they walk through Mike Brown's voice is big. Like,
come on, look what Nick Nurse is doing in Philly. Like,
his completely has changed how they attack, period. Like how they play the game is completely different than what Doc had them doing, right? So, there's certain coaches that have that kind of voice that once it hits the locker room, it's resounding. I don't feel like Darvin Ham's voice is like that, whether they had really good talent or, mediocre talent and two of the best players. Like it won't matter. He needs to be replaced.
But does that have to do with, because with Ty Lue, he's not supposed to be just calling out, whoever the coach is not supposed to be just calling out the main guy, LeBron. AD needs to be called out. Like you see it in Golden State right now. The role play, Kuminga and the other guys coming out leaking stuff to them. What? Who are you guys? You ain't earned shit to be talking to Steve Kerr. What is wrong with you, Kuminga? Calm down. But it happened. I don't know where they got the balls to do that. Maybe they do want to get traded. Maybe they hear the murmurs. But it just seems to be a disconnect with the power. And with Darvin Ham, it's like I don't really see him calling out LeBron, and you want to make him the point guard. That means you're going to put more responsibility on him. That means he's the echo to the coach, right? He's the point guard. So you guys talk like that. Do you call him out like that? Are you calling out AD out like that? So I don't think it's just he doesn't have the voice, because Darvin Ham don't come off like no chump to me. He just, how you get chumped is when you don't have the quality behind your words. I don't think, like, after a while, I don't care who you are, you're going to sit there and be like, word, you're going to come at me, right? You're going to yell at me because you ain't going to yell at him. Well, you ain't yelling at Braun, and we ain't winning. He ain't Braun anymore.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Just watching, and I've seen him play, because like I said, I'm old enough. I don't know what type of basketball mind he has to be a head coach. I just don't think he's good enough to be a head coach in the NBA. I'm sorry.
I don't want to discredit guys that have put in the work. Like when you sit in that seat next to a head coach, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
He's done it. Atlanta 7 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Milwaukee for a while. Like he's been under Bud. Like he's been under some decent head coaches. So I feel what you were saying, because some guys you just know that they're head coaches, right? You look at these guys, you hear them talk the game, you hear how they patrol the sidelines, you hear them in huddles, you hear how they players talk, and you just know, like, Steve Kerr is a head coach, right? You just know that he's a head coach. Certain guys, you know. And then certain guys got to work on that craft and really put themselves in a position, you know, to say, okay, he's a quality head coach. Darvin Ham is still working on that, I think. I don't think, you know, he's proved that if he gets bounced here, that he'll land somewhere else and actually be a head coach in you know, one of these 30 teams. I don't think he's proven that. Monty Williams, Fabian hates him, right? But the fact still remains. Monty lost a job, or, you know, has lost a couple jobs, but he always finds another one, right? He's a coveted head coach. Like, so I don't know if Darvin Ham's put himself in that position yet.
No, once Darvin
I
Ham
don't hate him.
in the college somewhere, he done. He ain't get no more NBA jobs.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like how Monty's playing, you know, I think he's overrated. I love your point, Flea, because that's like a rapper with a delivery. Like, yo, his punchlines are okay, but it's the fact that he can really, like, every single word just goes through that speaker, and Darvin Ham hasn't figured that out. Like, I don't think Mike Brown comes off great like that either, but Monty Williams does, in my opinion. He really does come off. He does have the coach swag. He does have the coach. I think so, and so does Thibodeau. Like Carlisle, these guys do. Spoelstra even. Oh, it took him a while because it was like, what is this fake Tiger Woods dude looking, right? But now you can see.
But, you know, Mike Brown. I'm glad you brought up Mike Brown. Mike Brown may be the example that Darvin Ham has to look at. Mike Brown was under Greg Popovich for some years, won a championship with that Spurs team, right? Then gets a head coaching job with the Cleveland Cavaliers. With LeBron James, they go to the finals, right? Then Mike Brown can't get a head coaching job for like 10 years. He can't find a head coaching job for a decade, right?
Was it 10?
It was damn near 10.
Yeah, damn near.
He was at the Lakers for 5 games, I think, and they kicked him out. Kobe and kicked him out.
We could do the math on that. My point is that he had to go back to the drawing board. He had to go back and sit in that chair for another decade and figure out, okay, I got to change some shit up because I can't get a job. Luckily, you know, he gets under Steve Kerr now, and then he gets this job with the Sacramento Kings. What I'm saying is that Darvin Ham might have to take a peek at that and be like, okay, if I do lose this job, get demoted, don't have a head coaching job, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out some things. Mike Brown was a hell of a defensive coach, but he couldn't scheme worth shit on the offensive end. He couldn't put, you know, and he was spoiled because he had LeBron James. So now you're not even challenged to be coached on the offensive end of the basketball. So Darvin Ham might have to look at him if he does get, you know, what we all think. I think we all think he's going to get fired. I don't think he's going to keep this job. Like,
but before we, you know, get to this last topic, tonight's game, LA versus Clippers, is a big game, right? But you know what's crazy, Flea, how you said Clippers is going to thump them? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers win. That's how weird the Lakers are. Because once again, no matter how much I hate the Lakers, because I'm a Knicks guy, they still got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So, you know, I won't be surprised if they win, and that's why it's taking so long for Darvin Ham to get fired. Because they do have flashes of like, oh, but it can't be consistent for whatever reason. So I just think, you know, Darvin Ham needs to be fired, and I think that'll be doing him a favor because now I think, Fleet, what you just said was a great point that I've never heard nobody say. Go back to the drawing board, go to another organization with a great head coach and be up under them for a couple years to get your feet going again, learn the game more, and then maybe your next head coaching job, you can grow with a young crew. Like what Mike Brown is doing with De'Aaron Fox and guys, a young crew, and you building it and growing with them.
Expectations. You know how much expectations you have coaching LeBron James and Anthony Davis as a Laker? You're the head Lakers.
I wouldn't even took that job if I was him. I know, I don't want that job because that's set up for failure, bro. If you don't win no chip, it's a failure.
That's your
first money
job. Come on,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
and remember, if you lose, that's money. They fire me because I guarantee. Please fire me. I'll take the job.
from a business perspective, 1000%. But from a basketball perspective, now you're going to be in basketball hell now for the next however long, because who's going to want to hire you?
Clutch. I think